Welcome to the Dead Wrath and Beyond podcast. I am your host, Tara.
I'm Sarah.
Oh, Maya.
Oh, Maya.
And we are back after a long transition.
Hiatus.
We are officially doing audio now, so please find us on Spotify. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It'll really help out the channel, guys. And this week, we are going to be talking about vampires. What are vampires? The lore of vampires. Vampires in modern day.
Before we get started, though, it's been a while, guys.
It has. I missed you guys.
It's been, what, 3-4 months?
No, it hasn't.
I think it's been about 3 months.
Has it really?
March.
3 months,
It was
I believe.
before my birthday, before we last filmed.
Damn. Well,
That is a long time.
we're back. And
You're back.
we had to take a little bit to kind of figure things out. And I think that we're going to go in a better direction now.
What a good time to come back after like Eminem like put out Houdini, you know? Guess who's back?
The parallels are uncanny,
Guess who's
Sarah.
back? Yeah.
You know who else had a good comeback?
Who?
Kim Kardashian. Didn't she?
Stop.
When I was researching it, guys, basically a vampire comes down to drinks the blood of humans and then turns humans into vampires. So they're considered undead, you know, the son of the dragon, blah, blah, blah.
Kim Kardashian?
Matt. Enough with the comebacks. But Sarah, what do you have for this week to discuss?
Okay, first of all, before we talk about vampires,
Okay.
like, because I know we did our research, but like personally, when you think of a vampire, what do you think of? What comes to mind when you think vampire?
I typically
Naturally.
think Dracula, you know,
Same.
which I actually learned Dracula wasn't based on Vlad the Impaler or other vampires. He was strictly Bram Stoker's imaginative
Yes.
brain working. And I think that's crazy. I was under the impression that it was a lot more based on evidence, you know, but it's just
No, that's like made up.
Yeah.
He's like, I'll just make it. Especially like if you've seen that movie, the amount of outfits that man wears and hairstyles and people he turns into.
Dude,
I'm like,
Bela
what is
Lugosi.
happening?
Bela Lugosi is a sexy man.
Well,
I'm
that's
just
what
saying.
I think of.
Oh,
I
I
think
think you're
of
talking
him.
about the, not Bela Lugosi, but the Bram
Nosferatu?
Stoker's Dracula, Gary Oldman,
Oh,
with the penis head, haircut, and all that.
That's so funny.
the new adaptation. No,
But I
it's funny. I
also
wasn't even
think,
thinking of Bram Stoker's Dracula. It makes sense.
but I would also think of like, not only do I think of like Dracula, but I think of Michael and like the boys from like the Lost Boys. Because that's another depiction of vampires. Like for me, I think of when I think of vampire too, I'm like, oh, lots of them are like bad boys. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the outcast of the group. That's true. He was kind of acquired by the outcasts themselves.
Also, isn't it weird too? Like, because we're talking about this, but isn't it weird how many, including me, women out there are like, I would have relations with a vampire.
Very-
It's like, you know what I
Very
mean?
PG way to
Do
word
you know
that.
what I mean?
Yeah.
They'd be like, oh yeah, I'm into vampires.
It's all men vampires, though. There's not that many female vampires unless you want to count Aaliyah and freaking Queen of the Damned.
It's true.
There's not that many
Was
female.
it Selena?
I mean, there's what Naja and What We Do in the Shadows, and
Well,
And
Dracula.
Celine from freaking Underworld.
Celine.
You guys,
oh yeah,
need
she was a
movies.
vampire.
I need to watch
first.
more movies.
Hell
I just
yeah.
know like Dracula has like 4 or 5 wives, at least in the movie. You know.
But they weren't always like that, you know what I mean? So in my head, when I think of it, we think how, oh, they're like these, you know, seductive, like human beings. And it's like, they weren't always like that. So
Well,
it's
that
like, we created.
That was another thing that I read about vampires themselves, that they're not only just blood drinkers, they are very
Yes.
seductive. Like that
Yes.
was a part of their
So
mannerisms.
it's like, oh my God.
Well, it's kind of
dude.
like when you think about the sirens, you know, it's something that calls men into the sea, and it's bringing them to their
And
demise.
sirens, by the way, too, weren't even supposed to be mermaids. They were originally like ravens. Like,
Really?
With like these crazy like chick heads. They weren't like these sexy little like beings.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
You know what I
like,
mean?
you got to read the Iliad for that shit.
For that shit.
Or Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
No, that had the sexy sirens in it.
So yeah, where do we start with this?
With vampires?
Yeah,
Oh,
should we like start on the history of vampires?
I think we kind of. Oh yeah, we should go on a history and then maybe anatomy.
I didn't
Or
think about
anatomy,
anatomy.
physio?
Let's do it.
You want to do anatomy first? or-
it.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so
I feel like there's a
or we can
joke in
do
here.
strengths and weaknesses in anatomy pretty much. So
Go for it, Matt.
So we
Do
know
it.
like a lot of the debunked stuff crosses. A lot of times it's debunked in a lot of mythologies that vampires aren't really afraid of crosses. Garlic is weird because I've seen a lot of hit and miss stuff. I'm going off of like what I've seen and read about and stuff like that, where garlic kind of hit and miss. Either it's because they can't ingest it because of their diet of the blood or whatever, and that's why you see a lot of things where they rub the garlic on them because it kind of creates like an anti-mosquito type thing, I guess you can say. Because you know, if you rub garlic on you, it's supposed to
Wait,
be
so
for
you rub the
mosquitoes.
garlic on you to
Yes.
keep the vampires away. Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
They don't cast a shadow either.
So I kind of theorized that, like, just from all the medical stuff that I've done in my life and all that, that vampires can't absorb sunlight into their skin, and I hate to give credit to Twilight in this sense that
Go for
like,
it.
because you know when they go out into the sunlight in the Twilight movies, they sparkle. Well, I think the adverse happens where they take in the light, and then the light just bounces around inside them and creates heat rapidly, just like being magnified and magnifying, and that's why they burn up in the sun so quickly.
That makes
Because their
sense.
body doesn't have the way to protect create the natural
The protection.
protection. Giggity.
Yeah.
So I've always come to theorize on like, and I know there's like always the daywalkers that they talk about that can all that stuff, and there's, you know, like, well, what about like the weird vampires from Blade 2? When they went to the bathroom, they had a strong ammonia smell, and so I think that made me think about, oh, their digestive tract changed to where that's why they have that thing where they just piss. And that's it. They just piss. Vampires don't poop.
I feel like you got way deeper into this than we did.
You know what's funny is like it's
I'm in science
shower
class
thoughts,
again.
straight up shower thoughts.
You said I was just thinking.
I would sit in
Yeah.
the shower and I start thinking about like the anatomy and physiology of the vampires, and I always think about like the ones like from like Blade 2 and stuff like that, where like their shit falls off and they turn into Ken dolls basically. And Sarah's just giving me this look like, what do you watch?
Tara's like, I need to watch more movies.
I literally, that's what I'm saying in my head.
I can give you like a list.
I'm not going to say
Yeah,
anything
hell
'cause I
yeah.
don't want anyone to know I don't know most of these movies.
You know, I can actually give a great movie, a vampire movie analogy, not an analogy, but series I can recommend is oh my god, Sarah, you might have watched it too. Did you ever watch that show on FX, the vampire series?
True Blood.
No. No.
I did watch True
I do
Blood.
fuck True Blood. Oh, True Blood's my shit.
You
True
guys are
Blood
so
is the
excited.
shit.
It was called like The Bridge, or no, it wasn't called The Bridge. It was like something like that though, where like a vampire came to America, but there was like a vampire hunter that was like I think he was Van Helsing lineage or whatever, but it was like insanely good because like The Strain.
I did watch The Strain, and I freaking love that show.
The Strain was nuts because it kind of gave like a realistic
It's like a little breakout.
yeah, like of like how vampire, like if vampires were like parasite based and stuff
Oh,
like
that's
that.
kind of cool.
No, if you haven't seen it, you should watch it. It's
I've
good.
always wondered that too because we went and saw The Invitation, I think it was. It's a vampire movie.
Just,
Huh?
like yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, whatever, Sarah.
I thought you were saying jizz. I'm like, okay. I
Someone's
guess
having
that's
a
one way to make a
stroke over here.
vampire.
No, I was watching that movie, and then at the end, like, obviously, what Dracula has all of his wives, and the main character, she becomes a vampire, and then she could essentially just start biting people, or like at the end of Abigail, you know, and like turn me into a vampire, you know, blah
Yes.
blah blah. Like, wouldn't they just keep turning people into vampires, and wouldn't there just be essentially like a sickness going around?
Like a sickness or a hive mind type thing, or
Yes.
yeah, like a outbreak. Yeah,
Exactly
and-
what you're saying. Yeah, I've always wondered that. So it's cool the show actually did kind of talk about that.
but yeah, so that's a lot of it. Oak in the stake of the heart. Obviously, if they have a functioning heart, obviously anything in the heart's going to kill someone.
Yes.
How did this start? Like, what does anyone have any information on why they started picking like stakes to the heart? Because that would kill anybody.
I don't know, but I guess it's just one of those like it's common sense. If you stab it in the fucking heart, it's got to die.
Yeah. Or chop off its head and burn its body. Like,
Yeah.
that's after the fact, you know? But
Exactly.
I actually did find a problem with that mentality is people used to think that, oh, we're suspecting that this person that recently died is a vampire and they're coming back and eating everybody. But vampires are already the undead, so how can they die?
That's got to be like some like author or something. You know what I mean? That
Yeah.
writing vampire stories. Now they're adding stuff like that.
I guess
know what I
there
mean?
was a book that Bram Stoker read. I can't remember what it's called.
Oh my gosh, I know what you're talking about
What
as
is it?
well.
You
I
don't-
don't know what it's called, but I know that what you're specifically talking about.
It basically that was like one of the first, not romanticized, but explanations of vampires, I guess, or like fictional writings of vampires, you know. And everyone read it, and it became like pop culture at the time.
Well, what's funny is because we're talking about like the first romanticized vampire. So it was like, oh my god, it's in the 1800s or whatever. But Lord Byron, you know him. He's like,
You know,
he's a poet, 19th
Lordy B.
century, like famous. he was like the first. You know how social media now people like they get famous off like their eccentric lives. Like so back in the 1800s, he was one of those. Like he was just famous bad boy, pretty much. Like good looking,
Hell yeah.
womanizer, gamble, all this stuff.
Did they think he was a vampire or?
No, but this is where vampires being sexy came from. Is from this man in history, this poet, right? This is the life he lived. So him, and then I think his name is John Polidori, right? So it's like John Polidori, Lord Byron, Mary Shelley, and Percy Shelley. They all go into, like, there's like a bad storm or something. They're all like hanging out for several days, and it's like drug fueled. So all of them are like on drugs.
Is this when they're like telling stories and they're like?
They're all writing ghost stories together. So Lord Byron is like, hey, this is what we're going to do. We're each going to write a ghost story. So they start writing it. That's where Mary Shelley starts Frankenstein. She's on drugs. She's writing Frankenstein, right? Lord Byron starts writing, which was supposed to be like essentially the first vampire novel. But he wanted his novel to be more of like what vampires should have been. It's just dead people coming alive at night out of the same cemetery, feeding on people, immediately going back to the grave. There's nothing else.
So that's where that kind of started.
That's where that came from. That was it.
I see.
Because that came from the Dark Ages, like folklore, is where that came from. That's what they were, and they were called revenants. They weren't even called vampires at that point. They weren't even called vampires.
That's a sick name, though.
Until the Enlightenment, when Voltaire had a whole thing on vampires. So that's when they started having incognito lives. Like they were different. Like
well groomed.
So yes. But so his friend, John Polidori, picked up that story because Lord Byron started to write it and it was supposed to be like a regular vampire story. He took it because he stopped writing it. John Polidori changed the whole thing and he's like, I want to fantasize it. I'm going to make him like a woman's, and he based it off of his friend Lord Byron. So it was the bad boy, it was the good looks because Lord Byron had pale skin, he had red lips, he was the womanizer, he was the bad boy you're supposed to be afraid of. So if we didn't have him, we wouldn't have sexy vampires. So thank you very much, Lord Byron and John Polidori.
I mean, when it comes down to it, sex sells. Like,
Yes,
Sex does
dude.
sell.
I hate to admit
Absolutely.
it, but it's a real thing, and it's one of the biggest industries in the world. So why not take a monster and make? I mean, look at the freaking what was that movie that just came out? The Guillermo del Toro one that took like the Gill Man.
Oh God, The Shape of Water.
Shape of Water. That's essentially Creature from the Black Lagoon, but more.
That was such a gnarly movie when they like when I was like, did they fuck?
Well, then she explained how it comes out.
Yeah, and then she like totally she's like it is like whoop, and
Yeah.
I'm just like yo.
No, she did the whoop and then the whoop. But yeah, no, I mean, all you have to do is take one monster and just sexualize it, and it's gonna sell. I mean,
And it sure did.
yeah, it did.
It sure
Especially
did.
back then too, because like books were so much more important then compared to now. Like now, you stream stuff. Someone comes out with a new book, you're never even gonna hear about it.
Nope.
Then like they were common. It was common for people to write books, but not everyone was literate, and that made the pool a lot smaller. And so the people that were able to publish books who had money, like they had the connections too, so their books got pushed out there. So as soon as a book was published, everybody was reading it, and well, everyone that could read was reading it. So yeah, hot vampires spread like hotcakes.
That's right.
I got to send it to you guys later, but it's funny that Sarah talked about that party with Mary Shelley and all that. There's an episode of the show called Drunk History where they talk.
Oh, Drunk History's so good.
I love drunk history.
There was an episode of Drunk History where they talk about that very party and Mary Shelley creating Frankenstein. And just like, I know I'm getting off track and I have
you're
that
fine.
bad tendency. There's the scene that always makes me
Matt
laugh.
is our resident pop culture fanatic.
The scene that I cried when I heard it was like, they're like Mary Shelley's talking about the story of Frankenstein and all that. And then she's like, and then like one of the guys is like, what's the monster's name? And she's like, Taco.
Matt's dying right now.
And that was, and I'm just like, you imagine if they
You can't see him, but Matt is beat red right now.
Frankenstein's monster was
at his
named
own damn
Taco.
joke. Dude, how gangster would it be for, like, for example, the three of us to be trapped in a room where, like, let's come up with a writing contest or a game, I guess, where we write scary stories, and then all of us publish our books, and they all become bestsellers, and we all create like new monsters. How gangster would that?
feel like I would be good at that.
Oh yeah, you would. Especially with as much as you read too. Like, I think it'd be tight.
Mine would probably be like children's level, but still kind of creepy, maybe. I don't know.
Children need scary books too.
Yeah, they do. And Vlad the Impaler wasn't necessarily considered a vampire, but he did apparently dine on the blood of his. No, he would dip his bread in the blood of his enemies.
His bread?
That was what I read. Is
That's
bread.
right.
Yeah, I think it'd be like a cool tactic to like scare some people. But like if you're sitting there straight up drinking like goblets of blood, I feel like you're gonna feel not good.
What
later
a
on.
G.
Well, you know, if it depends if the blood
If you
is
got the money, might as well.
prepared
Right?
or not, because you know, not necessarily human blood, but real.
People eat pig blood all the time.
Exactly. I was literally about to
I
say
eat
that.
that with
I was saying
rice.
black pudding.
Dineguan.
Black pudding is literally just pig blood and oats encased in sausage.
That's what Dineguan is. It's pig guts and blood.
That's the
Eat it
Asian
over
version.
rice.
That's
It's
the
like
Asian version,
pennies.
right? Yeah.
And it's bomb as fuck.
Is it really?
Hell yeah, it's one of my favorite
Is it
things to eat that my
gamey?
mom like makes.
Would your mom make it for us sometime?
Absolutely, she would love to. She'll make you all the nasty shit if you
I want
want.
to try it.
I'm
I'll
good on a
try
lot
it.
of
Have like a little food challenge.
No,
down.
I'm good on a lot of that stuff, like
do
durian and
it.
things like that. I don't fuck with.
I'll do it.
I eat a lot of weird shit.
I
so.
lot
you-
larb I don't mess with sometimes.
It's
if
not really
prepared
weird
right.
culturally. You know what I mean? Just our Americans tend to be more like subtle with what we eat. You know, we don't try new stuff.
I've gotten enough. I've been binging No Reservations because I love Anthony Bourdain. And-
R.I.P. homie.
And like I started watching No Reservations again just to go through it. And there's some food I'm like, okay, I'll fuck with that. I would fuck with that. I would not fuck with that. And I'm talking about like liquor made with like snake balls and things like that.
There's
Oh,
like
interesting.
eggs that apparently they soak in urine and boil.
Hard
in.
pass.
Yeah, I don't remember which country it was, but Papa Meat from Meat
Gross.
Canyon just did a whole video on it.
I
and-
love Papa Meat,
He's
dude.
the
He's
best.
so fucking funny.
You guys ever
that-
seen the maggot shit cheese?
Yeah.
No.
No.
No, I won't do maggot shit cheese.
I mean, anyway, we're getting
Why
off.
does
we're
Papa
getting off
Meat
track.
always look so sweaty though, dude? He
Ew.
always
Poor
looks
guy.
sweaty. I feel bad for this man.
To me, he looks like someone that can control fire. I'm just saying. Yeah, so Dracula was kind of the first introduction into pop. Well, actually, no. Nosferatu was the first like introduction into pop culture, like visually, you know. And then also, I don't remember the studio name. Apparently, they took the story of Dracula and made it into a film, but they didn't get the licensing rights to do that. That's why they changed it to Nosferatu. That's why they
I did not know that.
they kept enough the same, but changed little things to where it was like very obvious it was Dracula. So they got sued and the whole studio shut down because
Oh.
they couldn't.
Dang.
I think
That was what happened with that one, and you don't really hear a whole lot about it after the. I mean, you hear about Nosferatu, but that's like it. And then Dracula came out after the fact and was obviously correctly made. With
Came up with the cape though, like you know what I mean for like Halloween when you.
I think that's just like
capes,
a
who
Middle
made that
Eastern
up?
thing. Not Middle Eastern, not my bad.
Romanian. No, not Romanian.
Eastern Europe.
Okay, so you know what I mean because he's always be wearing like his robes always be changing.
I didn't even read about his wardrobe.
Straight black,
Honestly, I
black
think
and red.
actually, you know what's crazy? I just went to the Getty recently, and I was under the impression I don't know why. I think when I see paintings of like a depiction of, there was a big giant painting I saw of Hades kidnapping Persephone, and it was it was painted during the Renaissance period. So like the ships in the background were all like Renaissance ships, and like the clothing was more that time period versus actual Greek appropriate ships and time period and stuff like that. So in Dracula's sense, when they're adding like capes and certain garb and stuff, I'm sure that they're probably going off of what's popular at the time of the film coming out or what they think would be popular, you know? In the late 1800s, I'm sure that people did wear capes a little bit more often, you know? So
That makes sense.
when I could be very wrong, but this is my opinion of it. Stage plays. Bela Lugosi was in the stage play for Dracula for so long, and he did such a good job when they decided to make it into a movie. They used him, and they asked him to be the part of Dracula, so he accepted. So it was probably a time period thing.
okay, that makes sense.
Also, he's Hungarian too, so maybe had something to do with that too. I don't know.
Hungarian.
Because I know Count Orlok didn't wear a cape in Nosferatu.
No, he just wore like drabby black clothes,
Yeah.
right?
And also the bat too wasn't even like a vampire thing. It was originally an owl.
What?
Yeah, they referred to like vampires as like owls.
I know that sometimes
so
they
that-
said that they changed into wolves. I'd never heard an owl thing.
I've heard wolves, owls, bats, mist, or fog.
Mist I've heard before.
I feel like there's another shapeshift that I'm missing.
So
But I
they're
feel like those
essentially
are
shapeshifters. It just depends on the culture who's telling it.
Yeah, but if you think about it, like if you think about like where like a lot of that stuff comes from. You think about like the lay of the land and stuff like that. There's like woods and trees and everything like that. If it's heavy fog and they're wearing dark clothes, it could look like they disappeared and became the fog.
It's essentially the boogeyman when we think back to our boogeyman episode. It's how do we scare people into believing this thing? And
Exactly.
true.
You use your elements that are around you. That's a good thought, Matt.
Yeah.
Smart.
Thank you. I try.
I'm trying.
So owls, tell us more about that.
Oh, I just remember it was like, I can't even remember specifics. I just know it was Dark Ages too. They referred to them as, I don't know if it's like them flying, you know what I mean? Nighttime bird.
Owls do tend to
They
have
pray
kind
at
of an
nighttime.
ominous
You know what
vibe
I
around
mean?
them, like the whole fourth kind thing in the owls. Matt has this drink, by the way, and we're all like swigging it. It's so
Go to
okay. That sounds bad.
Beasters.
It's not alcoholic. It's a tea, but it tastes so good.
We're getting lit.
Yeah, it's good. So if you hear us talking about drinks, that's what we're doing.
That's what we're sipping on.
No, owls, I've noticed they tend to have kind of an ominous vibe to them,
They totally do.
but it's weird because
And them scary noise.
they also have, like, Athena can shapeshift into an owl, for example, and she's the goddess of
Knowledge.
knowledge.
No.
Hey Siri.
Oh no! Don't be cheating going on that Siri
What
thing. AI junk.
Hey Siri. What is Athena the goddess of?
Athena is the
What?
Greek goddess of wisdom and war.
Wisdom and war.
I said of
Wisdom.
war.
Yeah, I was thinking something else. So
War.
wisdom and war,
Yeah, I said of war.
which is not really like a creepy topic, but
Aries.
like owls do have like an omen kind of presence around them. So it's interesting. I want like with the shift of that.
It's like they always be showing up in movies too, like
Yeah.
at funerals, and you're like, whoa.
Did you ever see that movie, The Fourth Kind?
Yeah.
Yes.
With the
that,
fucking
That's
owl.
specifically what I
that
was
movie
thinking about.
scared the shit out of me.
That was I thought it was real.
That movie
I
was.
did too.
That movie was
I
so
lost
legit.
sleep over that movie.
That was
I
Straight
thought,
up anxiety.
I saw that thing that joined the theaters, and I remember like I walked out of that theater like
I said I should have never
that was
watched it.
different. Like that movie hit like different than Blair Witch.
yeah. It was
Like-
they had more believable characters. Personally, I
It was
think.
one of those times where I was like, I wish I never watched this movie. I
Mm.
can't take it back.
It was traumatizing.
It was traumatizing.
But yeah, owls, werewolves, or not werewolves, wolves. I think when the actual werewolf came out is when they dropped the vampires can turn to wolves thing. But bats, did you read anything about that and what?
Nope.
Nope.
I think it's the same thing.
Creepy, dude. Bats
Yeah,
are creepy.
that's true. It does
They
have,
hang upside down.
they hang out in the dark, like these little the way even the way they fly.
They're like the little noises they
It's
make.
almost
Especially-
like a stop motion little creature in the air.
Yep.
They're just very twitchy.
That's more scary, dude.
I agree with that.
Bats, like we said with the mist. Oh, we didn't even cover like all the weaknesses. Silver.
I thought it was a wolf.
I thought that was wolf.
Werewolf.
No, silver's for vampires too.
I think you're lying.
No, silver
Look
for
it up.
vampires too. Like True Blood.
Somebody-
True Blood had silver.
You
chains
are
and
right,
things.
it did.
I'm gonna-
I said
Okay.
something about silver too to somebody. They're like, that's not vampires.
No,
I swear
but-
to God, I thought
so
it was.
there was
dude.
two things. So because we talked about the mirrors thing, remember how
Yeah.
vampires vampires couldn't see the reflection in mirrors
Holy
a
water.
while back because
They're made out of silver.
they were made with silver back in the day, but now mirrors are made with silver, so that way a vampire could see their reflection first, if we go off of that mythos or whatever. But also, I think why a vampire would be weak against silver could be the same reason why copper or brass.
Yeah, silver.
Copper has antimicrobial properties. I think it could be the same thing for a vampire's skin.
I just
Okay.
thought of something.
What?
With silver, like werewolves, vampires, like silver is the thing you need to get like to kill a vampire. I wonder if because silver is such a precious metal,
It's considered a holy metal.
a holy metal,
Holy
let's
metal.
let's say precious or like wanted, sought out.
Mm-hmm.
If they're like, well, not everyone can afford this, but if you can
You see
buy
the drive
this,
of the industry? Is that what you're trying to
exactly.
Rich people just buy that shit.
Think about that. It's such a like typical wealthy guy mentality to have. Like, yo, like you want to buy this silver now because it'll protect you against vampires.
Yeah. You won't get friggin' eaten by a vampire.
I think it's a good theory.
I do
That's
too.
solid.
I'm gonna pitch
It's very
that.
solid.
You're welcome.
I think it is, dude.
So, do you guys have a favorite vampire?
I don't know about favorite, but like pop culture, Bela Lugosi, Dracula.
All of that.
Like just any vampire in general. In books, in movies, in folklore.
Always loved Dracula,
Mm-hmm.
like the OG
Bela Lugosi.
Bela
dude.
Lugosi. I just think he's a handsome man.
For sure, dude. Number one, actually. He's at the top.
Freaking what's his name? Outsiders. I can't think of his character name or his real name.
Rob Lowe's.
No, not Outsiders. What am I saying?
The
I was
only
like,
hot guy in the Outsiders. So
No,
like,
not
are we talking
Outsiders.
about
You talking
Rob Lowe
about
right now?
Kiefer Sutherland?
Kiefer Sutherland.
You're talking about
thank you.
David
Yeah.
from the Lost Boys?
Yes, Lost Boys, not Outsiders. I'm sorry, time periods, man. But yeah, Kiefer Sutherland. I thought he was a very fun
It's
vampire.
funny you say that because he's one of my favorite suits. Bela Lugosi and Keith
Because
Sutherland
they're
from
just up
David.
there. They had the sex
And
appeal.
Michael from there because Michael hot in the Lost Boys. Dude, get out of town right now.
Sarah, stop drooling. Matt, what about you?
I want to say Kiefer Sutherland just because he was a straight dick.
Yeah.
Like
He
he
was.
kind of broke. I think he broke the stereotype on a lot of how vampires act and stuff like that.
Yes.
Because he was like he wasn't mystical or
Wasn't
anything like
prim
that.
and proper.
He was just a straight prick. Like he was a bastard son.
With his stupid little dangly earring.
Everything about him. He was
Mullet,
just like
pretentious dick.
like he was like an outlaw type. Like he was an outlaw. He was an outlier. He
Rode
was
a
just
motorcycle.
he was just a badass.
All
Like
rode
Yeah.
motorcycles.
you could not hate on the dude for being a dick.
Nope.
100% see you rolling around with that crew. 100%.
Yeah, dude, if that was me, I'd be that girl.
Yeah.
With the
I could
shirtless
star,
saxophone guy playing in the
I would
background.
be Star for sure. But I'm getting on that bike. Take me with you. Turn me into one.
You know what's funny is not one of my favorite vampires, but I liked the whole vampire family in Interview with the Vampire.
Yeah.
Kirsten Dunst's character.
Yep.
I liked her character. Even Tom Cruise.
He was a good vampire, though.
He was a great vampire.
He was a great vampire.
Lestat he was a great Lestat. And then Louis, played by Brad Pitt.
I was gonna say Brad Pitt, also
Brad
a
Pitt was
sexy
a G.
vampire.
I loved Brad Pitt's lines in that movie especially because he starts talking about the negative things with vampires and weaknesses and stuff like that.
Yes.
Because he even says it. He sits there and he's like, Christian Slater's like, well, what about your weaknesses and stuff like that? And he's like crucifixes. And he's like, I'm fond of crucifixes, actually. Like that.
Who's that character in Underworld? He's like the half Lycan, half vampire. You know what I mean? Her love interest. What was his name?
Was his name David or something like that too?
I don't know, but he was also pretty fine.
I'm just hanging out.
Okay, since we're talking about this fun little game,
Okay.
fuck, marry, kill. You got to pick 3 vampires.
Well, I thought you named them, and then we have to pick who we.
No, you pick them.
Oh, no, you pick them.
Oh, I'm gonna
pick.
pick it. Okay.
Okay.
Let me pick. Let me
All right.
think.
Got so
Let me think.
excited.
Let me think. I'm trying to think of ugly ones, but like that's also mean.
Yeah. Well, you also can't. There's not many ugly vampires.
I have a hard time because I don't have a lot of female vampires in my.
I'm trying to think of
Vampire.
vampires I actually hate though. You know what I
Vampire
mean?
is a female vampire.
What about
Vampire,
Aaliyah?
okay.
Damn, she fine.
Yeah, she is.
Sookie got turned at the end, didn't she?
Shh, I think so. Yeah,
Okay, there you go. Okay, I got
and
one.
she's pretty cute too.
Oh yeah, Anna Paquin.
Yeah.
Oh,
See,
I would make the sticky.
I'm
Yeah,
not getting excited over here.
Anna
bro.
Paquin. I would make the sticky.
I was looking at female vampires.
Well, they show her Hooters in that show, and I'm just like, oh yeah, she's got a nice rack. So yeah,
Yeah.
Would make
so
the sticky.
yes.
So
Make a
What
sticky.
did
Is that what you
would make the sticky. Yeah.
guys, Matt, I'm not editing this out, by the way, guys.
so funny.
For your,
I'll
for your
do.
pleasure.
I'll do the FMK.
That's right.
For Sarah. All right.
Okay, do it. Yeah.
All right.
Mavis from Hotel Transylvania.
Boom. You think she's fine or
She's
what?
animated
She's
though.
118 now. It's fine.
118.
118.
Yeah, she's legal.
She's
That's-
legal.
That's gonna be a hard pass.
You
to
know,
do.
Abigail, friggin'.
Okay, so
Oh,
let's see
she's a
here.
child.
We will
I know, I'm just
do.
kidding. There's
Oh.
got to be some hot female ones, Matt.
Celine from Underworld.
Yeah.
Okay, so Antonia Banderas from Interview with the Vampire. We'll go with.
I'm already, before you even say anything, I'm going to fucking kill that person because people think my brother looks like that man, and I'm not
Yeah.
anything else but killing that
Don't
man.
associate
So
yourself.
already, that's
Do you
a
want
kill.
someone else in?
Yes. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to kill that man.
Okay. Nandor from What We Do in the Shadows.
That's okay.
Okay.
The Skarsgård from. I cannot. Didn't he play Bill? No, Bill was the other guy.
What?
From True Blood, the blonde
Oh.
guy, Eric.
Eric, he was the white guy, gay
Yeah.
guy.
No, Eric
He was gay.
No, he was the other love interest for Sookie.
Oh, you're
Skarsgård.
right. Why did I think he was the gay vampire? That's Lafayette, right?
Yeah, Lafayette was the gay guy. Yeah,
I love him. Anyways, I'm so sorry. Yes,
he died
okay.
recently too. Did you know that?
No, that breaks my heart.
That's sad. He was a great actor.
and David.
Yes.
David.
And David.
And David.
Okay, and David.
You're welcome.
None of these men are hot, by the way.
Wait, David is hot.
So like he's kind of hot. But
Wait, from Lost Boys?
yeah, I don't think he's sexy.
You don't?
I just think he's dope. No, I think Michael is sexy,
That's-
and then
okay.
the other guy with the black long hair too. He's got like a little dangly
We're talking about
earring.
Kiefer Sutherland, right? You don't think
Yes.
he's attractive?
No,
Oh God,
Oh, he's
Daddy,
alright. You said daddy.
Daddy, not that one. No, thank you.
Okay, no, that's who I was talking about. Eric from True Blood.
Oh, he's from the Northmen.
Yes.
Yeah, he's a Skarsgård.
Yeah, I know. I
Oh,
just
okay.
wasn't associating because there's so many of them.
I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna kill Eric from True Blood.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I'm so sorry. He's got to go.
I'm so sorry.
I'm gonna fuck Kiefer Sutherland.
Yes.
Because he looks like a bad boy and it's like, yeah, you get dirty. Like, let's play.
You definitely
And then I'm gonna marry Homeboy
Which homeboy? I don't remember who we
from
played.
In the Shadows.
Really?
You would marry Nandor?
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Matt
Fair.
seemed very unsatisfied with
I'm
that.
sorry.
No, Nandor's cool.
But that's who I'm gonna marry.
He's cool people.
He's cool peeps.
He's kind of ignorant, but he's
Matt
he's
said,
cool.
I see what kind of people you like now.
I would have definitely.
I'm not gonna
going a
marry
different way.
David because you already know him to be a cheating bastard. So
Maybe, maybe not. My brain always goes to the I can change him.
oh, you're one
Oh,
of those.
God.
Let me take you in your bad boy and make you better.
And you won't want to leave any. You won't.
What is the reverse for Captain Save-A-Ho? Like, what would that be for women?
That is what Tara is.
Like,
Captain's.
save a dick? Save, I don't
I mean, men can be hoes.
I guess.
Men can be hoes.
Duchess save a hoe.
Duchess Save-A-Ho, there you
Oh,
go.
I love that.
Duchess
welcome.
Save-A-Ho, there you go.
Yeah, that's what that is.
I'm gonna brand that now.
You should.
All right, so whose turn is it now? You want to do Tara's, Sarah?
I'm thinking. Okay, I'm gonna name one, and then you can give her one as well. Who's the dad's name in Twilight? What's his name? What's
I
that
don't
man's
know.
name? What's his name? David. Everybody's name is David. Too.
Carlisle?
Yeah,
Carlisle?
Carlisle.
he's not bad looking. He's not my
Okay, is
type.
that one of her
but-
picks?
Yep.
Okay, so you got
Okay,
Carlisle.
Cullen. Who else?
Matt.
Oh, I got to pick one?
Yeah, you have to pick one for her too, dude. Not just me.
Please say Bella Lugosi.
No.
Damn it.
No. Why can I not? Stephen Dorff.
Who the heck is
Stephen Dorff in Blade.
I'm also gonna say David Salatori.
that? Okay.
I just realized he kind of looks like her.
Okay. Who's the
Put
last one?
Damon Salvatore.
Damon Salvatore.
Yeah, he's from what is it, Vampire Diaries?
I never saw that either. Okay.
Damon or David?
So far we
I
have
think I'm pretty sure
Twilight,
it's Damon.
Twilight, Blade, and Vampire, Diaries. God. I'm gonna kill the Twilight dad. Not because I hate Twilight or anything. I just don't think he's attractive.
Nope.
Based on the one picture I saw of the guy from Blade, I'm gonna marry that dude.
I'm gonna marry that dude.
Stephen Dorff.
I'm gonna F the dude from
She couldn't
Vampire
even say the
Diaries.
word. She said F.
I'm gonna,
I'm
yeah,
gonna
I
F
don't
that
like
dude.
cussing very often.
I'm gonna bang that man.
I got my
dude.
face tattooed. I don't like cussing.
I'm gonna
You would
smash.
make
I'm
the
gonna
sticky?
bang.
I'm gonna, yeah,
You would make the sticky?
make smush mush. What is it called?
She
Snoo
wants
snoo.
mush
Yeah,
smash.
it's snoo snoo.
Death by
Me
snoo
wants
snoo.
snoo.
All right, I guess it's my turn.
Matt's turn. Who you picking? What was it again, Sarah?
Oh, she didn't even pick him.
Okay, I'm gonna give you Celine from Underworld.
Okay.
I love that one.
All right. Who else?
Terry, you gotta pick one.
Oh, Vampira.
Vampirella?
No, Vampira.
Oh, I thought that was.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, you sound very hesitant. I'll show you.
I wish you gave me a real person. 'Cause
She is a real person. You don't know who I'm talking about. Vampira.
Oh, is that Morticia Adams?
No, it's Vampira.
She looks like the same actress.
No, she doesn't.
Oh, she got
They're
big ass
just because they're both in
forehead.
black and white.
You and the foreheads, Matt.
I know, right?
Pre.
It's like you can have a good personality, but you better not have a big forehead, dude. Do not come
Okay.
at Matt with your big foreheads.
Pre Elvira.
She's
Okay.
beautiful.
Okay. Who's my third?
You go.
You get Aaliyah.
I get Aaliyah.
You get that brown angel princess, dude.
Ooh.
God rest her soul.
All right.
Oh, man.
All right, I'm
You
killing-
like that freaking
I'm
queen
killing.
right
I'm
there?
killing Vampira. I was actually really hoping you guys would have gave me Salma Hayek from from Dusk Till Dawn, but
Oh, bummer for you.
Of course you wanted that. I wanted Bella Lugosi, but guess what?
I wanted Michael and I didn't get him. So that's
all right. So I'm killing Vampira. I can't do those eyebrows or that head. Sorry.
fair. Fair enough.
You're
And
so
I would
picky.
I would marry, what was the other two already? Oh, Celine and
Aaliyah.
Aaliyah. I would,
Who you smashing?
well, because I'm worried. Okay, so I'm gonna marry Celine because
It's okay that you just want to smash with Aaliyah.
That's
I
okay.
get it.
and I would smash on Aaliyah.
That's what I'm saying. She's
Well.
fine in that movie.
Yeah.
Oh, she was really pretty.
I said, ooh,
The outfits they got her in.
Yep.
When you think back to the Dark Ages and stuff, when someone was accused of being a vampire and they would die, and they would exhume their corpse to see what had happened. Like, are they actually like leaving in the middle of the night and like eating people and sucking their blood? Like, their fingernails would be longer and their teeth would be longer, and they would have like dried blood on their mouth. It would look like a vampire. But realistically, I think their hair was even longer too. When you die, over a period of time, your skin starts to shrivel up and it like retracts. So it makes your nails look like they've been growing. And it makes your teeth look like it's longer than it actually is. It makes your hair look longer. The blood, a lot of people had tuberculosis at the time.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, so it's like you're coughing up blood even up
That
until
is
you're dead.
wild.
So it's all these things.
vampire.
It's all these crazy things that are really like simple scientific explanations, but at the time when you need explanations and you don't have it, you start
Dude, it's
making
more
stuff
exciting
up.
to do it that way.
Like mammoths, you know, like they would find mammoth skulls and they'd be like, oh, these are cyclopses because they'd have the big hole in the middle
Yeah.
missing. So the Greeks thought that those were cyclopses, like all this crazy stuff. I
and
love
it wasn't.
It's goodbye to the days where we just made up stuff, you know, to work with whatever our needs
I
were.
know. Be like, I'm just gonna make something up, dude. That sounds good.
If you guys want to hear more about monsters, macabre subjects, any lore, please drop a comment below. Let us know what you want to hear about. We're going to probably discuss, I'm thinking maybe werewolves next time. What do you guys
I
think?
do love werewolves.
Werewolves.
Werewolves, and we'll see where
Werewolves
that
can
takes
also
us.
be sexy because there's
Oh,
lots
yeah.
of sexy werewolves.
I'm personally more into werewolves than I am
me.
vampires.
Well, me too, kind
I
of.
feel like werewolves are more scruffy and
They're
have
more like manly to me.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Vampires are like a bitch.
Yeah, exactly. They're all fancy with their rings, you know, and
Yeah,
like
you wear
werewolves are
red
out there getting
lipstick.
dirty.
Stop.
All right. Well,
There's no
we'll see you
female
guys
vampires.
next time.
No,
Thank you for
werewolves.
coming back and listening to another episode of Dead Wrath and Beyond. We know it's been a while, but
Welcome
we are
back.
back. Let's push the button.
All right.
Push it real good.
Do you guys think vampires fart?